Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 71 of the Drew Pavlis Show. Today, I'm going to be covering the events at Glastonbury, where a very fine, lovely young bloke took to the main stage at Glastonbury and chanted "Death to the IDF" and was screaming about white people being evil and all this sort of thing. And so it's very important stuff to discuss, of course. Mr. Steak says, "Good day, mate. How are you going, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream." If you're on YouTube, leave a like on the stream, please. It's very important. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. F. My opinion of rise in anti-Semitism and race communism is that it's the new Gamergate. That's interesting. Let me know what you mean by that. Hey, I'm interested. Somebody says, Drew, aren't you a mongoloid? I don't believe so. What do you mean by that? That's a very strange term. Musaka, how are you going? Thanks for joining us, guys. I think we've got 10 on YouTube so far. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like on the stream. It's very important. It helps us reach more people. So important. A lot of people are saying it's so important. And if you're on Twitter, consider going across to the YouTube. It's a lot easier to watch on YouTube. It's a lot better viewing experience. I think we've got 50, 60 people watching live on Twitter right now. I encourage everybody to go to the YouTube. Just going to quickly put the link up. Drew, have you joined people first? I'm not joining people first. Rennick isn't, when it comes to foreign policy, Rennick is really out there. He's pretty borderline anti-Jewish people. He's very pro-Russia, very pro-Bashar al-Assad. I'm not a fan of that shit. This is funny. Lord Mars blocked me. Can you believe it? Lord Mars blocked me. This guy is extremely fucking mental. Who cares? If you watch his YouTube channel, watch that video that Lord Mars put up on his channel, where he talks about his childhood. It's a really messed up childhood. And it kind of explains why he is how he is. Drew, what time is it in Australia? Go to bed. It's 10:30 p.m. here. What's the time for you guys? Who else is there? Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not really sure who else is there. I mean, it's guys, how funny is this? Hamza Yusuf claiming that he invented algebra. Look at this.
Here's why Muslims suck. We invented algebra. Yep, that's right. Those miserable math classes that you had to sit through, that was us.
Hamza Yusuf personally invented algebra. Who would have known? Who would have thought it? But Hamza Yusuf himself did it because he's Muslim, and of course, Muslims invented algebra. So it's very important. Hamza Yusuf personally bears responsibility for inventing algebra. What a great contributor this bloke is. And Pickles will blank. It's not as simple as just Muslims invented algebra. Like there's so many different advances throughout history. So many different cultures contributed to the advance of mathematics. It's really ridiculous. Haya says, if people term something as a sacred cow in the context of Gamergate, it was feminist. Now it is anti-Semitism. People are going to deliberately target it. Creates resentment and an urge to strike back. Interesting. I'm not sure, but interesting. We've got 15 people on YouTube. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like. So important to help the stream. What happened in Glastonbury? Yeah, we'll go to it. We're gonna go to Glastonbury. Glastonbury. It's pretty insane. It's pretty mentally ill. So where's Glastonbury? Hang on. Oh, of course. They've got the Hamas symbols at Glastonbury. Beautiful. So good. These people are so mentally ill. As we all know, the current war in the Middle East kicked off when Hamas went to a music festival and massacred a couple hundred people because they were Israeli teenagers. Massacred a couple hundred Israeli teenagers. And, of course, all these people then celebrating it. It's actually sick. King of Corinth, member for 1 month. Member is going down the shitter. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. Thank you, my friend. Good on you. Thank you, King of Corinth. A valued contributor. Guys, if you're on my YouTube, you should consider becoming a member. Very helpful. Glastonbury type sentiment will result in FAFA. It's certainly not good for social cohesion. King of Corinth says this as a black legal immigrant. Yeah. Hamza Yusuf is allowed to celebrate his heritage. So Hamza Yusuf personally invented mathematics, of course. That's so true, bro. That's so true. Hamza Yusuf literally invented mathematics. Very true. Yeah, they were chanting. Okay, here we go. Hang on, I'll get it up. I posted it earlier.
Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF. Death.
Beautiful for social cohesion, folks, isn't it? It's beautiful for social cohesion. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see. Haya says it doesn't help that people like Netanyahu have completely passed on anti-Semitism for their own political ends, therefore creating a target on the back of innocent Jews. But dude, all this anti-Semitism is literally just anti-whiteism. Like, these people think that Jews are white people, therefore that's why they hate the Jews. All these hardcore race communist leftists, the far left, we're talking about the ultra left right now. These people hate Israelis and Jews because they think that they're white. That's literally what they think.
Death to the IDF. Death to the IDF.
Very mentally healthy, guys.
Death to the IDF.
I think it's fine to say death to the IDF. That's not the same as saying death to whites or death to Jews. So true, bro. They're definitely going to limit it to the IDF. When there's a crowd of people filled with seething race resentment, and they're saying death to somebody, they're definitely going to limit it to just military targets. Of course, guys. Of course.
Hell yeah! From the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah.
And this was just the start of it. So then he started performing a song that essentially was just, "You'll never get your country back. Fuck you. We're taking your country." That was his song. It's literally just gloating that white people will be minorities, gloating about, white demographic decline, gloating about low fertility rates. This was apparently the great headline act at Glastonbury. How progressive, how beautiful.
It will be free. Don't you want your country back? Ha! Shut the fuck up.
What powerful lyrics, guys. I heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. Bovlin, this country is built on the back of immigrants. And then he's just chanting, "Shut the fuck up if you want your country back." Amazing.
Heard you want your country back.
Think of how mentally ill these white people are who are chanting along to the "Heard you want your country back, fuck you." Like, do they think that they're not going to be included in the, like essentially the guy is doing a song for race war. It's essentially a song of race war against like white British people. Or and there's all these like white kids in the audience going, hell yeah, this is so cool. If we bop along, we're not going to be like killed. Like, where do this is the crazy thing for me. This is just what I don't understand, right? Where does it end? Where's it supposed to end, right? Like, do people think it just ends at this point with just, headline acts at Glastonbury, basically chanting out songs about killing white people? Like, is that where they think it ends? It obviously doesn't end there, right? Yeah, they ain't kids. They're like 45. That's a fact check true. They're all like fucking middle-aged, weird people. By the way, if you watch on YouTube, guys, leave a like on the stream. Really helpful. Leave a like on the stream. Helps us reach more people. Do they realize that the West is the only civilization that allows strangers to become full-blown citizens? Yeah, but they just want to crush the West. That's what it's all about. They just want to destroy the West. And it's so insane.
Ha! Shut the fuck up! Heard you want your country back. Shit, me too. Heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up.
Heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. Like, what is that supposed to be? It's just gloating over like, we're taking your country. That's insane. Like, do these people, what does that do for social cohesion? What does that do for, social harmony? This is the headline act at Glastonbury, which is supposed to be like, the most prestigious music festival in one of the most prestigious music festivals in the entire world.
Heard you want your country back. You can't have that.
Heard you want your country back. You can't have that. And like King of Corinth, this guy in this chatter, literally, as he said, he's a legal black migrant. And he can identify that he's gloating about racial replacement. This is what they're doing, right? Like, what are they doing here? We all know what they're doing. Like, this is the thing that pisses me off, right? They love to pretend. Like, if you take, like, they do this song, and it's so clear what the song's about. The song's about, like, we're taking your country from you. Fuck you. That's the song. And if you then say, I don't like this, they go, oh, triggered snowflake. Wow. Oh, you're just falling for, you can't get upset about this. You're just falling for a couple. This is a minority. This doesn't mean anything. It's like, well, this is literally the headline act at Glastonbury. Peter, I didn't remove your comment. I understand that you removed my last comment. It was too edgy. I actually didn't remove your comment. No, I didn't remove it. I don't know. Like, what did they? What was your comment? I didn't see it. But yeah, racial displacement of an ethnic community within their own homeland. So I love, what the fuck, Pickles LeBlanc. This is what I don't understand, right? He thinks I'm the one race baiting. I'm just observing. This is reality. This is the headline act at Glastonbury, the biggest music festival in the Western world or whatever. And wow, Drew's race baiting because he's acknowledging that they're doing a song about replacing white people. Like, this is just insane. This is mental, guys. Come on, this is mental.
The only place I know, stolen right under my nose. My ignorance stop, trying to lay claim to a land that ain't theirs anyway. Wait, what?
I love that line, trying to lay claim to a land that ain't theirs anyway. So I don't know what he's trying to say here, that like white English people who are English by ethnicity, it's not their country, it's not their land. Then where are they native to then? Where do they come from then? I don't understand. Like, did white English people just emerge out of the ether? If they're not native to England, where are they from? I don't understand. This is just pretty obvious stuff, right? Some people have made the observation that this is kind of like just a cringe version of Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine is cringe as well. Like, Rage Against the Machine had a big, like, they made a music video cheering on the Shining Path of Peru, which is like one of the worst Maoist terror groups of all time. Their most infamous claim to fame was boiling indigenous Peruvian children alive. That's literally the Shining Path. And Rage Against the Machine promoted them. He says it, your country. So you want your country back, we're taking it from you. I mean, like, what are people supposed to think from that? I don't understand. What are people supposed to think from that? How is that going to produce multicultural harmony? It's not. It's so obvious. Like, this is a race war song. And I don't like that. I don't want race wars. I hate race wars. So, wow, Pickles LeBlanc, the great musicians through. Like, what's the music? He's just chanting about how much he hates white people. They were created by the Yakub. White people were created by Yakub. Fact check true. That's actually fact check. That's fact check true. Yakub created white people with 2 pieces of steel. The reform crew don't get an unlimited right to deport people who have lived in a country their entire life. And I didn't say that. Did I ever say that? No, I didn't say that. But also, do you get the right to just chant, oh, we're going to demographically replace you and there's nothing you can do about it. Just enjoy becoming a minority. That's obviously very socially corrosive stuff to say that, you know. The whole energy of this festival seems to be war and death. Yeah, literally. The whole thing is just war and death. They're just all about, the whole Glastonbury festival was just, we want to kill people. This is the part that I just don't understand, right? Like, so as this is what I noted here. I tweeted this. It got 16,000 likes, 760,000 views. These are my actual thoughts, right? Like I just said, I can't take it. I'm actually struggling with this. At my heart, I'm a moderate progressive social democrat, but the popularity of tanky third worldist Maoism in leftist circles is so profoundly alienating and pushing me more conservative. Here we have the main act at Glastonbury, an incredibly prestigious position to occupy, chanting for race war, gloating about white people becoming minorities, celebrating decolonial massacres. The standard left-wing response line. This is the part that I hate, right? The standard left-wing response line when challenged about all this is just deny it's happening. So if you say, hey, I don't really like this song, you're chanting about replacing people based on ethnicity, that's really fucked up. They will just say, oh, it's not happening. They'll laugh at you, pretend it's just a few fringe extremists on social media. Then they'll say, oh, you're just anyone who cares about this is actually the real race baiter. Like, is this guy not a race baiter? So if you observe what he's saying and criticize what he's saying, you're the race baiter. That doesn't make sense to me. He's the one who's putting out this shit that's so socially corrosive to the social fabric. Are you going to talk about the Amel and the Sniffers rant? What was the Amel and the Sniffers rant? I didn't see that. What did they do? They're Australian. What did Amel and the Sniffers rant? What did they say? Please tell me. I hope it wasn't something extremely mental, but of course it will be. That's the strategy of the Democratic Party in the USA towards men. Just ignore it, guys. Be progressive. Yeah, like that's not a political theory, or that's not a political. That's not fair, right? You can't just be like, oh, ignore all our hatred for you. Just ignore it. Dissident audience. Third word is fuck whitey. Country is ours, not yours. Whites. Wow, that's a bit racist and divisive. Enlightened academic. Why do you care so much about this? You're obsessed with it. That's literally it. That's literally it, right? A third worldist Maoist goes on stage and he says, fuck you, I hate you, I'm taking your country away from you. And someone goes, oh, that's a bit racist and divisive. I don't like that. And then someone's like, oh, wow. We've literally got a guy in the chat doing this exactly. You're Joe Roganing yourself, brother. You're cooking your brain with social media bullshit. This isn't social media bullshit. This is the main stage at Glastonbury. This is the main headline act at Glastonbury. It's not social media bullshit. This is undeniable. He's literally performing for tens of millions of people live on television in front of hundreds of thousands of people. This is the zeitgeist of the culture. He's the headline act at Glastonbury. You can't just go, oh, this is all in your head. If you think this is all in your head, you're mental. I hate it. It's such a form of gaslighting, right? This is it, right? So much of modern far left bullshit is just, we hate white men. And then when white men are like, I don't like that. I don't like that you hate me. They're just like, oh, wow. How dare you cook yourself with social media algorithms? Oh, you've fallen for the radicalization pathway. It's not happening and it's good it is. Yeah, that's literally it. That's literally it. What the fuck is going on, guys? This is just mental. You're Joe Roganing yourself. Yeah, absolutely, Pickles. He's cooking his own brain. By observing the reality of the world that I live in, I observe every single day posts with hundreds of thousands of likes talking about how much they hate white people. I see the main headline act at Glastonbury just saying, we're going to take England from you, towards people who are ethnically English. And if I notice that and think, this is a bit toxic, then I'm the problem. Sorry, you guys are the problem. You're the ones who are radical. I'm not a radical. I want things to stay as they are. And these guys are going out there saying, like, we're going to completely replace you and take your country. You're the radical. You're the guys doing social experiments. You're the guys interested in the most radical, profound social experiment of all human history, which is the dissolution of every single national identity. You're the guys who are radical. You guys are the radical ones. You're the ones who want to dissolve the building block of international politics, which is the nation state. You're the one who wants to dissolve every single ethnicity and nation state on the planet. And we're the radical ones who are just saying, I don't want that. Let's just keep things how they are. Like, it's race war rhetoric. It's literally race war rhetoric. It's not an argument saying you care too much. Yeah, literally. They have the advantage because they are willing to go on the offensive, even when you're arguing against it in a defensive way. Yeah, they're the ones. This is the crazy thing, right? They're the ones on offensive. They go onto the headline. They go on the main stage at Glastonbury and say, we're going to take your country from you. Fuck you. And I say, that's not good. And then immediately we're on the defensive for saying, for not acquiescing with the most radical social experiment in human history, which is the dissolution of every single country that currently exists. How dare you not feel white guilt? That's literally it. They're fucking obsessed, right? He didn't actually say that on the main stage. That's what you're inferring. So could you just tell me, if I'm inferring it wrong, tell me what I'm inferring wrong.
The only place I know, stole the ground.
Listen to this line. Just tell me what I'm inferring wrong.
Under my nose, my ignorant scum. Trying to lay claim to a land that ain't theirs anyway. Wait, what did you say? How'd you want your country back? Shut the fuck up.
So just tell me, just explain to me what I'm getting wrong here, right? So he goes, you're trying to lay claim to a land that isn't yours anyway, England. So they're saying that there's no such thing as England. English people can't have a country. And then he says, heard you want your country back. Fuck you, you're not having it back. So just tell me, at what chain in the reasoning have I got it wrong? Tell me how this is not tell me how he's not calling for a race war here. What have I got wrong here? What have I got wrong? True, I agree. My family is Greek too. We were big fans of Kennedy, big time liberals, and went through discrimination. But at the end of the day, they love their country. I love this country. I love America. I love Britain. This is the thing. I love America. I love Britain. I love Europe. I love Greece. I love Australia. I love Tibet. I love Ukraine. I love all these places. And I don't want them to all just be dissolved and just eradicated from the face of the world, which is apparently what these guys want. Stay mad, Drew. It's what the elites want. What am I supposed to do? Just pretend it doesn't exist, right? It's cry bullying. Yeah, absolutely. If you didn't say it on the main stage, I guess that makes it okay then. Well, this is the scary thing, right? Like, Drew, what does the future hold for this? Will we see a mean reversion? What does that look like? Mass remigration. The end result of all this hateful ideology is like racial conflict. And I don't want that because I don't want racial conflict. So this is what I don't like. It's the only place I know trying to lay claim to a land that isn't yours. Yeah, but he says, heard you want your country back. No, you can't have that. You can't have a country. And then he says, the land isn't yours. England isn't yours. So English people can't even have a country. Your whole worldview is wrong. How's my worldview the wrong one? What's worse, shouting death to the IDF or what Israel's doing to the Palestinians? It's just bullshit. Aang is trying to do a genius breakdown of the indefensible. It's so unbelievably indefensible. It's so unbelievably obvious that this guy is calling for a race war. And then, holy shit, we're just supposed to pretend it's not happening. Even in the last right-wing protests, they were in response to stabbings of children by immigrants. They didn't just wake up one morning and decide to protest. I know, I agree with you. Obviously, I condemn all the rioting, but it's a response to terrorist attacks. The terrorist attacks are the things that create racism. It's a multicultural country. He has the same right to be there as people who have lived there for 1,000 years. Dude, if you're born in the country, I think you have a right to live there. But don't pretend that people who've lived there for 1,000 years don't have any special status in the country. Like, it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. Like, if English people have had an English country for 1,000 years, of course, if you're a migrant to the country and you're born there and you love the country, I think you can become part of the English culture, of course. But you can't just say to people, sorry, there's no such thing as England and there can't be an English country and you can't have your own culture. Like, that's just wrong. That's not even multicultural, and that's just blatant sectarianism. Yeah, exactly as King Corinne says, like, you can tell what the undertones are. Can you imagine an Israeli singer, just a real thing, right? An Israeli singer goes up and then starts chanting at Palestinians, heard you want your country back, fuck that. Every single person in the fucking left would condemn it. Black people invented England. That's fact check true. That's actually fact check true. I can't deny. Black people invented Greece. Turkish people invented, I don't know, China. Just let's invent everything, right? Like, I don't know, like Palestine was invented by the Finnish. Let's just say stuff, right? What do you mean by special status for people who've lived there 1,000 years? I just think that if there's 1,000 years, if there's 1,000 years of national history to a country, diversity is good. I think there should be some level of, diversity and pluralism and stuff like that. But you shouldn't. But people who've lived in a country for 1,000 years. So, for example, I think that England should never become minority English, considering it's been English for 1,000 years. Your religion, Christianity, smash many cultures. This is what it all comes down to for Pickles LeBlanc. It's just self-hatred. It's just self-hatred. It's all about self-hatred. You have to be so upset about all the evils of Western history, and your culture's evil, and you can't be proud of your culture. You can't be proud of your country. You just have to hate yourself. That's the end result, right? You have to just basically say, there's no such thing as any good in my own country and culture. I have to just accept that it's a shit country and culture, and therefore we can just erase it. That's it. That's the end result. Third worlders, fuck Whitey, I hate you, country's mine, not yours. Drew, that's racist and divisive. Drew's enlightening commentators. He's simply calling for liberal multiculturalism, Drew. Sensitive much. Yeah, that's literally it. These people are fucking mental. Yeah, guys, it's really, this guy is really demonstrating a love of multiculturalism when he says, we're taking your country and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. Do you think that's multiculturalism? Multiculturalism is different cultures living together in harmony, fundamentally within a shared understanding that they are part of the same community. This guy is just straight up saying, I'm taking your country from you. That's not multiculturalism. That's straight sectarianism. My God. In the city of Sydney, 50% of people who live there are born overseas. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat. And like I said, I like diversity. I like pluralism. I like migration. I just think that we shouldn't do it at a rate that completely overwhelms countries. You have to give things time for assimilation to occur, for slow cultural change to occur and adjust. You're a clown, Drew. I'm disappointed to have ever followed you or given you money. Pickles, your worldview's broken. Your worldview's broken. Pickles, your entire worldview is just that you're ashamed to be white. That's what your worldview is. You just think that Western countries have a uniquely evil history. Therefore, there should be no such thing as Western countries. That's the end. That's literally the core of your ideology, and that's a broken thing to believe. That's a broken thing to believe. Are you pro-Aboriginal, Drew? No, you're not. I mean, what do you mean by pro-Aboriginal? Like, I'm sympathetic to Indigenous Australians who live in terrible conditions. I want the government to help them. If that's what you're talking about, of course, I feel bad, right? But I don't know what this guy wants. Like, he wants me to say, oh, all white people should be deported from Australia. No, I don't believe that. Who cares if the English become a minority in their own homeland in generation or 5? Those are the same. European native peoples must defend that. That's what Goose says. Australia wasn't white at all 250 years ago. I know, dude. I know. But Australia is a country that exists. Australia currently exists as a country. Australia is a country that currently exists in the world. You can't just completely erase Australia as a country because 300 years ago there was colonization. You can't do that. We had to listen to these people talk about structural oppression and microaggressions for a decade. Now they run in circles defending this shit. It's insane, right? By the way, guys, we've got 44 people watching the stream. Please, if you're watching the stream, leave a like on the show. Helps us reach more people. It's very important. Very important. Help me reach people, guys. Very important. Let me check how many people have liked so far. We're episode 71 of the 100-day challenge. We're on our way to 100 streams. On our way to 100 streams. How many likes have we got on the show? We've got 18 likes. Thank you, guys. We've got 40 people watching live. So if you're watching, please leave a like. It helps us reach more people. I just don't understand this ideology of self-hatred. This is what the ideology is. The ideology is essentially Western countries have a uniquely evil history. Therefore, Western countries should not exist. Therefore, all the uniquely progressive achievements that Western countries have achieved throughout history, which is like we were the countries that brought in universal suffrage. We were the countries that brought in equality for the females and males. We were the countries that brought in gay rights. All these progressive advances, right, just need to be swept aside forever because 300 years ago Australia had colonization. Therefore, Australia should be erased. I don't understand. It just doesn't work. Do you want Pickles? Come on, debate Chris. Come on and debate the Chris. Let's have it. Someone unmute me. My comments don't get put on the main chat for Drew to reply to it. I'm seeing your comments, AI. Thank you. Bro, I just realized that Drew is a center leftist. That's why the chat is this way. I don't know, but I get Nazis attacking my chat too. I get Nazis. This is the crazy thing, right? I get Nazis saying, Drew, you're Turkish. We're going to deport you. So I'm not somebody who believes in pure Aryan genetics, 100%. Everybody has to be 100% white. The whole country has to be 100% white. That's literally not what I support at all. I'm not somebody who wants to have, oh my God, you can't have a single non-white person in the country. That's ridiculous. I hate that. That's stupid. I'm not racist. I'm explicitly anti-racist. I just don't want race-based sectarianism in Western countries. And I don't want the balkanization of Western countries into like 500 different Yugoslavian type entities. And I don't want to have, and I don't want, the founding population of the country to become a minority. Like, these are very moderate views. I think leftists and communism fundamentally don't understand the importance of sentimentalism. For me, it's sentimentalism almost, right? Because it's just like, I think of England in my head and it's like the beautiful rolling green countryside with the sheep, the Cumbrian sheep farmers, beautiful traditions, Windsor Palace. And I don't want England to just be, I don't know, like people screaming at Hamas rallies about killing Jews. I don't want that to be England. See, this is the thing. Peter, you're right. If we could have a situation where we didn't emphasize race for everything, that would be ideal. That would actually be ideal. We don't want everything. We don't want everything to be, race obsessed. I don't want society to be like that. The problem is, I think this is the problem, right? I think people on the left I think a lot of people on the left have convinced themselves that if, I don't know, like Europeans become a minority in all these different countries, suddenly that will just solve racism. But that's not going to solve racism, guys. It actually just makes race even more of a salient sectarian problem in society, because that's how you get the far right. When people feel like they're becoming a minority, that's how the far right comes to power. Drew, would you want to go on a date with Cecilia Banks? Nah, man. I think she's a crazy lady. She's a crazy lady. Madison Grant. I don't even know who that is. Guys, this literally puts to bed the whole debate, right? We've got a comment from a leftist in the chat. Colonizers are being colonized. How sad. That just proves it's about revenge for them. It just proves it. For them, it's about revenge. They're literally saying, we're colonizing you. Can it be more obvious? Can it even be more obvious? Can it be more obvious when they're literally saying colonizers are being colonized? That's the end goal. That's the end goal. They're actually gloating about it. They want it to be colonization. It's about revenge for them. It's about revenge for them. And that's why it's insane. That's why it's insane. They want revenge. They want revenge. It's insane. Drew is not conservative. That's clear. He just looks increasingly conservative in a world of increasingly insane Joker type lessons. I don't like fucking far left. Will you debate any far right figure on diversity again? Sure, but it depends what they want to debate. Max saying multiculturalism isn't really working. Getting a bit sick of it being told it's our greatest strength. Well, this is the funny thing, right? Like during the summer, there was a period last summer in Australia where like every single night there was basically fire bombings of like Jewish homes and businesses and synagogues in Australia, and it was predominantly being done by like criminal groups linked to Arab organized crime. And every time it would happen, the Australian politicians would come out and say, listen, this is not who we are as a multicultural country. We are the most successful multicultural country on earth. And it's just like, I'm sorry, if we're getting firebombing attacks every single night against Jewish businesses in Australia, predominantly by Arab organized crime groups, is that really a sign that our multiculturalism is doing so well? I don't think so. That's what you think of. I think of the Industrial Revolution, smog-filled skies, kids with coal face, elites sipping tea while they're playing close. Damn. So Pickles now thinks I'm far right because I just said that English people shouldn't be a minority in England. Okay, that's so true. My woke dad says he wants whites to become a minority in America and Britain. Okay, I'm interested. Like, what's the reasoning there? Like, I think these people think that will somehow solve racism, but I'm sorry, like, that's not going to solve racism. It's just simply not going to solve racism. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if like there was like a white nationalist doing this exact song with the exact same words, just saying, "I heard you want your country back. You can't have that," to indigenous people. Everyone would hate it. So why is it good when it's? Yeah, Mr. F is correct that it's not even revenge. These are generally privileged people. They just hate the society that exists in and of and all themselves. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is like legitimately like mental illness. Like this is literally the truth. The truth is that a lot of this stuff is mental illness. Because look, self-hatred isn't a mentally healthy way to observe the world. It's just not a healthy way to go about the world. Self-hatred is not healthy, guys. I'm sure Quiet won't be mad when the English take decolonization past essay and lectures in heart. Like the whole thing is toxic. This whole debate becomes so toxic, right? If immigration makes a society far right and Sydney has 48.6% of the population overseas born, why is the centre left being re-elected with Assad-like numbers in Australia? Listen, like if you think everything's going to be fine, you're kidding yourself. Like, I feel like Australia is kind of in a situation where it's like 2012 Obama victory, and everyone's self-satisfied, and everyone's like, we've solved racism. And then like, look at what happened in America. 4 years later, there was Trump. And I'm not a Trump supporter. I hate Trump. So I'm just saying, like, whenever progressives tell themselves, oh, the left have won, we've solved racism, everything's going to be fine, let's keep things going forever. I'm sorry, like that is not a sustainable way of viewing the world. If you win an Assad-like victory at an election, you should be humble, because if you go away from humility, if you reject humility and think, oh, we've been elected, we will just rule forever, like, dude, it's not going to end up well. It's not going to end up well. Drew isn't conservative. He's just realizing how far left the average leftist is. I'm so sick of the average leftist, because the average leftist has become so far left. Damn, was anyone killed in these synagogue attacks in Australia? As far as I'm aware, nobody was killed, but it came pretty close to killing some people. I'm pretty doom-pilled. There is no solving racism. Okay, so if you agree there's no solving racism, why do you think that radically transforming the demographics of society is going to lead to less racism? You've said that there's no... Like, let's go through Pickles LeBlanc's mindset, right? He admits himself that there's no solving racism. He also thinks that over time we should radically demographically transform society so that English people are minority in their own country. Okay. So if he admits that there's no solving racism, by very virtue of that fact, is he not just simply admitting that eventually English people will be discriminated against as minorities in their own country? That's bad. That's bad. Drew, after all the shit you've seen Zoran posted, do you still believe he's just a leftist or not an Islamist? I think he's a leftist who has sympathy for Islamism. Pickles, should Arabs be a minority in their own country? Like, no one thinks that. I do agree with Petter that the definition of whiteness is very flexible, changing. That is factually true, because like it is literally, it is a natural fact. It is a natural fact that, for example, like 50 years ago, a lot of Greeks were not considered properly white in Australia, right? And I still get crazy Nazis saying that to me. So of course, it is a very flexible it's a very flexible thing. It's funny, you look at Persians. A lot of Persian people look white. A lot of people from the Arab world look white. So it's a lot more complex, right? I mean, this is a good point by Collide too. Preference flows is why Labour won. Major parties got the lowest vote they've ever gotten. I mean, if you think that major parties getting the lowest vote in history is a good thing for, you know, moderation in society, I mean, that's not necessarily the case, right? Like, major parties get the lowest vote they've ever gotten in Australian history, and people look at it and they're like, wow, Australia is very politically stable right now. Look at what happened in Britain. Keir Starmer won 400 seats off the back of like 32% of the vote or 33% of the vote, which is so similar to what happened to us in Australia, right? The Labour Party won 90 plus seats with 32% of the primary vote. And 1 year later, Keir Starmer is extremely unpopular and reform is rising in Britain. I'm not saying that's going to happen in Australia. Obviously, very different situation. I'm just saying, like, I caution people against triumphalism. Reports emerging that Glastonbury has been enriching at uranium to 60% more to follow. Very true. By the way, guys, 57 people watching live. Thank you so much. If you're watching the Drew Pablo Show live, please consider leaving a like on the YouTube stream. Leave a like on the YouTube stream. It helps me reach more people. It's very important. We've been building up the show. We're 71 days into a 100-day challenge. Unfortunately, I've missed a few days. So I think there's been 76 days. In 76 days, I've streamed 71 times. So almost every single day. And we've been slowly building up the stream audience. I think the average has been going from like 20 to almost up to 50. So we're building it up slowly. Can you just be honest and admit you want a liberal white ethno state with 5% minority population? I didn't even say that. And if you asked me before, I actually think like 20. I think I've got no problems with, minority groups being, significant part of the population. I'm not arguing for white ethno state with 99% white people. All I'm saying is that English people shouldn't be a minority in their own countries. That's very moderate. I'm saying English people shouldn't be a minority in England. Like, that's very moderate. Australian, European Australians shouldn't be a minority in Australia. And English people shouldn't be a minority in England. Arab people should not be a minority in Arab countries. Tibetans should not be a minority in Tibet. Ukrainians should not be a minority in Ukraine. Russia's been stealing land and transforming the demographics of places in Ukraine with migrant settler populations. So I actually like diversity. I like multiculturalism to an extent. I just don't want to have completely revolutionary changes, okay? Yeah, Pet is true. Pet is right here. There must be an active effort for integration of all the ethnic groups on the part of the society, all children going to the same schools, prevention of residential segregation, etc. Absolutely. And this is what you have to do to avoid the formation of ghettos, which then creates even further sectarian problems. Does the NSM want to deport you or let you stay? You're Greek. For a long time, they were saying deport Drew, which is very funny because I'm Greek. It's fucking dumb. Like that. I'm not a fucking 100%. This is it, right? Like listen. I'm Greek. I understand that historically Greek people weren't considered fully white. That's a fact. Like I know historically that was the case, and so I'm sympathetic to people who faced discrimination. So of course I'm sympathetic, but look. I'm very comfortable with Greeks being like 2% of the population in Australia. I don't want Australia to become a Greek country, right? Like I'm happy with the fundamental character of Australia to be preserved. I love the fundamental character of Australia. I like different diversity. I like different cultures interacting. I love the fact that in Australia you've got different cultures, exchanging. I love the fact that in Australia that you have cultural influence from, the Vietnamese and from the Tibetans, and you have cultural influence from people from all around the world. I love that fact, right? I just want Australia to be majority, I just want the fundamental character of Australia to remain the same, right? My family are literally migrants to Australia as Greeks, Greek Australians. Greek Australians make up like 2% of the population. And I think it's fine for Greek Australians to be 2% of the population. I don't want Greek Australians to be 50% of the population or 60% of the population. If that was the case, when I was growing up, I would have gone to a full... If the population demographics were different, I would have gone to an all-Greek school. I would have never been able to integrate into Australian society because growing up, I would have been surrounded only ever by Greek people. And I would have basically been raised in a sectarian environment. I don't like that. I actually like the cultural interchange and the mixing. I'm just trying to go through the comments. There's so many comments. True. Your issue is you can't define Australian. Is Australia a culture or an ethnic? If culture, what values are defining according to you, I think it will help solve your issue. I think it's multiple things in one, right? It's language, culture, ancestry. All of these combining together, okay? It's all of these combining together. And I do think that people from different races can become Australian, of course. Of course, I believe that. I believe that people can assimilate into the country. I think the problem is when you have rates of migration that are explosively high, then people can't ever assimilate because they are then only often siloed into their own groups. And then you have sectarianism. And I don't think sectarianism is good. I actually much prefer interchange and actual genuine diversity. Genuine diversity is not sectarian, guys. Genuine diversity is not about sectarianism where everybody is siloed off into their own community. Should the Russians in the Donbass and Crimea be replaced by Ukrainians? These are Ukrainian territories that were replaced by Russians. The Russians invaded these territories and then literally settled them with Russians, ethnic Russians, and kicked out the Ukrainians. That's Russia's the one doing forced migration there. If Hellenic people aren't white, who is white? I mean, some of these, well, this is the thing, right? There are retarded far-right people who are like Nordicists, right? Who only believe that people from like literally Sweden, Norway, and Finland are like white, which is like stupid, okay? It's stupid. Third wallers, this is our country. It's better for our race to be here, not yours. Drew, I would not like that. Enlightened commentators, why are you in favor of an ethno-state, Drew? Yeah. You wouldn't look out of place in Syria, so be careful the narratives you push. But I've literally accounted for this fact. Listen, I'm a Greek Cypriot, which is a Levantine population. I'm not an Aryan, pure Nordic man from fucking Norway, okay? I'm Levantine. And it's interesting. A lot of Levantine people look white. A lot of Levantine people look Middle Eastern. A lot of Levantine people look white. It's very interesting. There's a lot of mix, right? There are Palestinians who look fully white. There are Israelis who look fully white. There are Syrians who look fully white. I've seen this before, okay? There are Lebanese who look fully white. There's a change. As I've said repeatedly, I'm certainly not. I'm not a white identitarian. I don't believe in. Oh my God, the country has to be 99% white. That's absolutely not what I believe in. Okay, absolutely not what I believe in. I just think that English people should not be a minority in England, which is the most moderate stance ever. You poll the public, 90% of people would believe it with the same thing, right? You can have diversity, you can have migration, you can have a multicultural society, but just don't do it to the point that people literally become minorities in their own countries. Hellenic Australia now. Morning, Drew. Stop apologizing for being normal. That's the thing. They want to make it illegal for being normal. They want to make it illegal to be normal. And they want everyone to be an insane communist. And if you don't agree with them, you get shot. That's the end goal of so much of this far left bullshit. Still making arbitrary claims of race based on lack of melanin. Dude, if you're looking at what I've been saying, I actually haven't talked about race at all. I haven't talked about race at all. I've said that what matters is it's a combination of language, culture, and ancestry, and people from different ancestries can become part of the same nation if they assimilate into the culture and they become part of the nation. So I'm not being racially exclusionary at all. If there hadn't been a war on Ukraine from the if there had not been a war on Ukraine from the Russians, the status of the Russian speakers would probably have been much better within the independent Ukraine. Yeah, dude, that's this grim irony of the war in Ukraine. Russia has been killing all the Russian language speakers in the east of the country, where they've focused so much of their most destructive part of the war, where they've focused so much of their most destructive war potential and so much of their most destructive war crimes. Like, they're slaughtering people who speak Russian as their native language. I went to Dobropilia and I filmed the aftermath of a missile strike against a residential tower block. And the victims of that missile strike were all people who spoke Russian as their native language. And they were massacred by Russia. Mass migration is a Ponzi scheme too. Birth rates are declining globally. Eventually, you run out of migrants. It kicks can down the road so we can keep paying pensions. Question is which generation pays. I think the entire economy is structured as like basically a pyramid scheme for the boomers. The boomers are looting everything, and then the young generations get nothing. Nothing's left for young generations. We just get everything's looted from us. Oi, Drew, do you reckon I could assimilate into being a Cypriot? Yeah, I think that like a white English guy who like lived in Cyprus for like 20 years, fully spoke Greek Cypriot, studied the history, studied the culture, studied the language, like had a flawless Cypriot accent. I think that person could be basically borderline Cypriot, okay? Like basically interchangeable as their Cypriot. This reminds me of when Destiny had to purge his community of far leftists and communists. I'm so sick of communists. Don't listen to Pickles. Here's Schizo. You break glass is funny. Do your own thing. Go your own way. Be your own man or lesbian. Keep race baiting. I'm not race baiting at all. I'm not race baiting at all. I've literally not race baited once. I'm not talking about race. I'm not even talking about race. I'm talking about demographics. Why does it have to be a white English to be a Cypriot? You keep no, because the guy I was responding to. I know was a white Australian guy. That's what he was. A white guy asked me, "Do you think I could become a Cypriot?" And I said, "Okay, you're white, but you could become a Cypriot if you fully." I think like an African person could become Cypriot if they lived in Cyprus for a long period of time, fully studied the language and culture and history. They thought of themselves as Cypriot. They had the same mindset as a Cypriot. I think somebody can become assimilated. Do you know what is wrong with Sky News Australia? They feel pro-Russians. Oh, it depends. Ask me, can you tell me what speakers are you thinking of in that way? Some of the speakers are actually pro-Russian. It depends who you're talking about on the Sky News Australia show. I know Andrew Bolt is really pro-Ukraine. Good on him for that. Andrew Bolt has been really... Yeah, look, honestly, great example. I genuinely think Giannis Antetokounmpo, I genuinely think he's like a fully assimilated Greek. This is a black Nigerian Greek guy, and he speaks flawless Greek. He was born in Greece. He lived in Greece his entire life. He identifies as Greek. He goes around with the Greek flag when he participates in sport. So I don't think it's fully a racial exclusionary thing at all, okay? Pickles is a white Australian guy. I've met him before. You always like define what you think is Australian culture and character. I think it's a outlook on life that is shaped by the Western Enlightenment and Western liberalism and the political, moral, philosophical, and religious ideals that have basically shaped European civilization for the past 1,000 years. I think that's what has influenced. I think that mostly encapsulates European Australian culture. Do I need to escape South Africa? Would you recommend I migrate to Australia? Is it an ideal place to live? Yeah, look, there's a lot of South Africans who've come to Australia. I'm sorry about the situation in South Africa there. It's really sad because, Nelson Mandela, he talked about a rainbow society, but it's very sad right now in South Africa. There's a lot of race-based hatred. You look at Julius Malema and the EFF, the communists, and they literally will chant about killing white people. It's fucking mental. It's fucking mental. Johnny's parents changed their first and last names to fit in. Look, it's a good example. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think, is a great example. Let's look at this.
Είμαι χαρούμενος που είμαι πίσω. Είμαι πάρα πολύ χαρούμενος που είναι ένα από τα μεγαλύτερα τρόπια.
So this is the thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? His family gave him a Greek name. He speaks fluent Greek. He speaks with a Greek accent. When he identifies as Greek, his nickname is the Greek Freak. He goes around with the Greek flag. He's fully assimilated. I fully think he's fully assimilated Greek. I genuinely think that. So for me, it's not race-based exclusionary. It can be difficult. It can be a difficult process to assimilate. I think people don't take assimilation seriously anymore. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is a great example of assimilation. Greek name, fluent Greek language, Greek by culture, right?
Τρόπια στον κόσμο που βρίσκεται αυτή τη στιγμή στην Ελλάδα. Αυτό είναι κάτι απίστευτο.
And you said in that film with WhatsApp that when you're in Greece, you were viewed as Nigerian, and when your family
And Giannis still has love for Nigeria. He found the balance. Yeah.
was in Nigeria, you were viewed as Greek.
I understand. Look, it is a difficult thing, right? Because that's an interesting comment where he said, in Greece, he's viewed as Nigerian, but in Nigeria, he's viewed as Greek. And look, the interesting thing is, if I went to Cyprus, I'd be viewed as Australian. I wouldn't be seen as like, obviously, I'm by ethnicity, I'm fully Greek Cypriot, but in terms of my culture, really, I'm basically Australian and Westernized because unfortunately, I never learned the Greek language when I was a kid. And I guess when I was a kid, I really wanted to become Australian. I really wanted to be fully Australian. I didn't want to become siloed off as like, fully Greek. But that said, though, I still, I'm still proud that I am Greek. I still, love Greek culture, Greek food, Greek customs and stuff like that. I love the Greek Orthodox religion, which is my religion. So I think you should be proud of both, right? I think you can be proud of both in a non-toxic way. I think that's a good example. You can be proud of both in a non-toxic way. Hang on, I'm just going to blow my nose. I've got a cold. Sorry, doggies. I've got to put you off for a second. Sorry, doggies. Come on, doggies. I gotcha. I'm dog sitting right now. They're beautiful creatures. Beautiful creatures. Okay. So, look, okay, for context, Pickles is like a white Anglo-Australian. He says, I'm more Australian than you and I denounce your argument. According to your race-based stratification system, I'm better than you. Russell Coit would never respect you. That's not what I've been arguing. It's so dumb. This is so dumb. I've never argued that. I've never argued that once. I never said that some people are better than others based on race. I've never said that, okay? Never said that. And it's so funny. You know what's so funny? Whenever, this is a bullshit thing that I've noticed with so many fucking annoying leftist accounts. When I say, listen, I'm descended from migrants. That said, I don't believe in open borders migration. I then get leftists go, oh, well, then you wouldn't have been Australian. Oh, that you're a migrant. You're not a real Australian. And it's like, you guys are actually making race-based exclusionary arguments against me because I'm a Greek Australian who said, I don't believe in open borders migration. I think Australia should roughly stay about the same as it is right now. And then people go, oh, you can't say that because you're a migrant. That means you have to support open borders, infinity migration forever. And if you don't support that, wow, then you're a hypocrite. And it's so funny how they actually weaponize it against you. They actually weaponize it against you. Like Pickles LeBlanc is like a full anti-racist guy, doesn't believe in it, like, and then yet at the same time he's willing to weaponize this stuff against me because I said I don't believe in open borders, infinity migration. Don't hate on Lakemba. Lakemba isn't yours. In the words of a pod of the moment, I heard you want your country back. Ha, shut the fuck up. You can't have that. Fucking mental, right? That's just like, do you think this is good for social cohesion? Do you think this is good for social cohesion? Nobody thinks this. I've got a question. Drew, are you Dino or are you Dunya? I'm Dino over Dunya. I'm always choosing Dino over Dunya. It's funny. I've actually made this argument to right-wing race nationalists before. I brought up that Dean over Dunya guy, and I said, look, this guy is fully white Anglo, but he's like, but by culture, he's essentially like an Islamist, right? And I said, like, Rishi Sunak is not white English, not ethnically English. But by culture, he's much closer to Anglo culture, right? So I don't think it's a full race thing at all. Hitler drew inspiration from Manifest Destiny, and the basis of Manifest Destiny was the superiority of Enlightenment values. Drawing on Western values is just a code word for racial genocide. That's bullshit. This is so fucking bullshit, dude. This is what they want you to think. They want you to hate yourself. They want you to hate your country. If you're even the slightest nationalist, if you just think, okay, America should exist as a country, they go, oh, you're Hitler. That's fucking crazy. Fucking mental. Hitler drew inspiration from Manifest Destiny, and the base of Manifest Destiny was the superiority of Enlightenment values. Drawing on Western values is just a code word for racial genocide. No, it's fucking not. That's bullshit. If you actually look at Western countries today, we're the least racist countries in the entire world. Western countries are the most diverse. Western countries are the most diverse by terms of migration, the least racially tribalistic, we've got literally the most advanced progressive systems in the entire world, and you're going to say that we're evil. It's fucking bullshit. These people hate themselves so much. Do you see why we're Nazis now, Drew? No, dude, that's fucking retarded. Nazism is a retarded ideology. Nazism killed like 50 million white people. It's fucking crazy. If you believe it, if you care about white people, why are you supporting an ideology that resulted in the total destruction of Germany and the murder of tens of millions of white people? He wanted to exterminate all Slavic peoples. He wanted to exterminate Ukrainians. He wanted to exterminate Russians. He wanted to exterminate all these different groups. It's fucking mental to be a Nazi, dude. It's fucking mental to be a Nazi. Man, the left is so good at projecting and attacking based on the internalized stereotypes. Yeah, true. Drew's wrong. I think Serbia is the least racist country. So true. That's factually true, actually. 28 likes on the stream. Thank you, guys. If you're watching the stream, leave a like on the YouTube. Please leave a like on the YouTube. It helps us reach more people. It's very important. Leave a like on the stream. Very important. Helps us. And I think Tali said that she wants to come on tomorrow. Tali, that'd be great. I'll have you on the show tomorrow. I'll work out the timing. I'll message you. That would be good. We're not giving up on you so easily, Drew. You're Aryan. That's so... I'm not Aryan, dude. That's retarded. I hate Nazism. Hitler and the Nazis... I like this comment. This is true. Hitler and the Nazis explicitly rejected Enlightenment values. They hated reason, science, and classical liberalism. If you look at a lot of Nazism, it's a third worldist type thinking, right? They hated everything that makes the West good. They hated everything that made Western civilization great. They hated science, reason, classical liberalism. Fact check true. Peter, you are correct. And I have to qualify myself. You are correct that many African countries and countries like India are very ethnically diverse. That's true. I'm saying Western countries are the most diverse as a result of migration. We have the most diverse migration programs in the entire world. That's fact check true. Bring Tali on. Many guys here need female for balance. Do you want to come on now, Tali? I know what's the time over there. It might be a bad time. Should the Turks in northern Cyprus be replaced by Greeks? The north of Cyprus is a military occupation, dude. If you're supporting the military occupation of Cyprus, you're fucking crazy. Someone says this, immigration is a red herring. England could close its borders tomorrow and the far right would move to purging remaining non-whites next. I don't believe that. That's fact check false. Oh, that's okay, Ty. We'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, this is a good point about King of Corinth. Incredibly so, but at the end there are majority groups that form the bulk of society. Nigeria has over 200 ethnic groups, yet 3 form the bulk of the country's social strata. If we had like 100 different ethnic groups, each representing 1% of the population, I don't see how that could be a stable basis for a country. Lakemba is a part of my nation as much as a part of it as any other. People who want to exclude the residents of Lakemba from the Australian identity are wrong. I think the key question here is do they want to become part of the Australian identity? Because a lot of people in Lakemba, you saw this over the past year or two. On October 7, there were fireworks in Lakemba to celebrate the massacre of Jews, and it was an Islamist extremist supremacist rally. Do those people want to be Australian? Those people, they don't want to be Australian. So this is a very simple question, right? Do these people want to be Australian? If you're a Muslim who wants to be Australian and wants to assimilate into the country and become part of the country, then yes, you can become Australian. But if you hate the country and you hate Australia and you don't want Australia to be a country that has democracy and Enlightenment values, then sorry, you're not part of the country. Simple as that. For non-Aussies, please, what is Lakemba? Lakemba is the most Muslim suburb in Australia, I believe. And so it's, I guess a rough equivalent might be like Birmingham in England. It's a suburb in Western Sydney. So being Australian means you can't hate Israel. If you're Australian and you hate Israel based on Arab supremacist or Islamist values, sorry, Arab supremacist and Islamist values aren't part of the Australian country and culture, and you have to leave the country. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. If you're an Australian and the reason you hate Israel is because of like some kind of like ancestral Islamist Arab supremacist thing, you have to fucking leave the country. Because, sorry, Australia was not built on Islamist supremacy and it wasn't built on Arab supremacy. Australia incorporated Jews from the very beginning. Australia was a country that welcomed in these people. And so if you want to bring Arab supremacism and Islamist supremacism to Australia, you're not welcome in the country. Fact check true, you're not in the country. Drew just hates Muslims who support the subjugated Palestinian people. So mental, dude. So mental. Where's the Ummah when it comes to the Uyghurs? Where's the Ummah when it comes to the Rohingya? The Ummah only ever seems to care when it's Israel because it's an obsessive thing about Jews. Fact check. That's fact check true. That's a true thing, right? I was an activist for the Uyghur people for years, supporting a group of Muslims who were persecuted and facing genocide in China. And it was so rare to have other Muslims support them because the Ummah only cares when it's Israel. The Ummah only cares when it's fight the Whitey, fight the Western colonizers, the Crusaders, the Jews, Yahudi, etc. Muslims only care about white Muslims, not Asian or brown or black Muslims. It's sad. Look. Greatest General Monash literally won World War I for the Allies. The greatest Australian general, the greatest figure in Australian military history, one of the greatest figures in the history of Australia, full stop. And he was a Jewish Australian. So to say, oh, Jewish Australians are not part of the country and the nation, that's retarded. I'm sorry. Literally, our greatest ever general in Australian history was General Monash, who was Jewish Australian. Everyone knows that. It's funny. Australia actually historically had a lot lower anti-Semitism than other countries because General Monash was such an amazing figure. What if you hate Israel for the same reason people hated South Africa in the 90s? No, dude, it's just mental illness. It's just mental illness. Just admit you're a mentally ill leftist. Just admit it. I agree. Jews have been Australian from day one. General Monash, literally the greatest general in Australian military history. You know, I've literally put that to the National Socialist Network types. I've literally put this to like Joel Davis and Thomas Sewell. And I said, like, how do you account for the fact that like one of the greatest figures in the entire history of Australian military history, literally the greatest military figure in history, the history of the country, is a Jewish guy? And they just ignore that. They ignore that fact. It's really bullshit and retarded. I think Jewish people have contributed a great deal to Australia. Honestly, fact check true. What did the general do? General John Monash. He basically won World War I for the Allies. He was literally the greatest general. Literally Australia's greatest ever military commander. It's a pretty amazing story. I should do a YouTube video about General Monash. General Monash faced immense anti-Semitism. He was removed or denied post because of his Jewish heritage. And yes, he overcame it. Which is an amazing story. Drew, do you think Israel is worse than apartheid? It's completely different. Dude. That's bullshit. It's literally a bullshit analogy. Completely bullshit analogy. There's no comparison. I don't think Israel's an apartheid state. No fucking way. Half of the Israeli population descend from Jews that were expelled from the Middle East and North Africa. They don't have another country to go to. So it's not apartheid. And listen, in Israel proper, 20% of the citizenry is Israeli Arab, Palestinians who have Israeli citizenship. And they form political parties. They've voted in the government. They've formed political parties that have been part of coalition governments. There are Arab Israelis on the Israeli Supreme Court. AKA Nomad is 100% just like a mentally ill leftist. I can tell. Dodo, you're being retarded about the Uyghurs. Uyghurs are a separate ethnic group. They're more Turkish than Chinese. And they speak a Turkic language, Uyghur. they practice Islam, and the Uyghurs are literally subject to ethnic cleansing and genocide. Listen, this is a real fact. I don't think, and I've never seen another leftist account for this fact. The birth rate in Gaza right now, even through this horrible war, is higher than the birth rate for Uyghurs in China. That's a crazy statistic. And that's because of the Chinese government's policies of forced assimilation where they sterilize people. Callie says, Drew, let's talk Israel tomorrow. Let's do it. Could blacks become judges and part of the government when Mandela was protesting? That's true. That's true. Yeah, in South Africa, in apartheid South Africa, they couldn't. That's very different. The West Bank is a different story because the West Bank is occupied territory. The reason it's occupied is because there was a war, and unfortunately, the people who wanted to exterminate the Israelis lost that war. And there's been attempts to create a negotiated two-state solution, peaceful settlement. And unfortunately, those attempts have been met with rejectionist violence by Palestinian armed militant groups like Hamas. So, for example, in response to the Oslo peace accords in the 90s, Hamas carried out a massive suicide bus bombing campaign. And that was actually what brought Netanyahu to power for the first time. The Israeli right, Likud, won that election by 1% in 1996. And it was in response to Hamas carrying out a wave of bus bombings that killed civilians in Israel. And they did this as a way to reject the peace process. And so think of it this way, right? If you're extending the olive branch for peace, you're trying to do the peaceful two-state solution, and they respond with suicide bus bombing attacks, that's going to make people not want to vote for left-wing pro-peace candidates. It's just simple. Drew is an unerotic Zog enjoyer. I love Jewish people. I like Jewish people, okay? I like Jewish people. I like Larry Davis. I like Jerry Seinfeld, one of my favorite TV shows. I like the Jewish people. They're great people. Israel is close to China, Drew. I know that, and I don't like the Netanyahu government. And I've criticized the Netanyahu government for his shit policy on Russia, his shit policy on China, his shit policy when it comes to Azerbaijan. I've criticized all of this. I've never been an uncritical supporter of the Israeli government. I've always criticized the Israeli government multiple times, constantly. I don't think China is deliberately starving Uyghurs. Look, there have been people who've died in these concentration camps. There's been people who died in concentration camps. And I know Uyghurs in Australia who have had family members die in these concentration camps. Ultra-leftists that cry out free Palestine but completely ignore the Uyghurs are all sorts of problematic to me. And that's 90% of them. That's 90% of them, unfortunately. And it's also 90% of Islamists as well. If you look at 90% of Islamists, they only care about Palestine. They don't care when it's the Ummah being persecuted by China. Bibi destroyed the Oslo Peace Accords. Do you think Hamas might have had a role in destroying the Oslo Peace Accords by bringing Bibi to power, by doing bus bombing attacks throughout Israel in response to the Oslo Peace Accords? Who knows? Maybe that had some kind of effect. I see someone in the comments who's actually advocating sterilization. That's disgusting. I'm against sterilization. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. I can't believe I've got someone in the comments saying that. That's messed up. Sorry, I've got a cold, guys. It's winter here in Australia. There's no such thing. Greater Israel's not a real thing. It's not a real thing, Pickles LeBlanc. That's fucking mentally ill, communist, ranting, lunatic shit. Israel handed over the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt in exchange for a peace treaty. According to all the Greater Israel theorists, Israel, that doesn't make sense within the worldview of the people who believe in a Greater Israel, okay? So Israel handed over territory for peace. So all these people who say, oh my God, Israel wants to conquer the Euphrates, sorry, that's mentally ill. Dodo, haha, Drew, you know, Drew, I have a hotel in Xinjiang. Do I really don't know? Are you actually like Chinese from Xinjiang? That's very rare that I've got somebody who's like Han Chinese from Xinjiang who likes me. That's very strange. Look, I've always been a supporter of Uyghur people because what the Chinese government has done is really insanely brutal. Okay. Do you like Arabs? I do like Arab people. I like culture. I like the Arab culture. I just don't like Hamas. I don't like fucking insane anti-Semitism from the Arab supremacists. Armed resistance is allowed under international law, and then this people say that, and then they say that to justify Hamas going to a music festival and shooting up a fucking music festival and killing 300 teenagers. Sorry, that's not international law. Fuck you. I agree with Tali Blotz. Greater Israel is basically an anti-Semitic dog whistle at this point. No one in Israel wants to occupy Iraq. That's delusional. Yeah, fact check true. That's literally anti-Semitic dog whistling. Drew's a sucker for big Jewish milkers. No, come on. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. But you approve of his policies on Palestinians. I don't approve of Netanyahu's policies on Palestinians. I've said no. I support a two-state solution. Netanyahu doesn't want a two-state solution. So I'm against Netanyahu on that point. Larry David would love Drew. I love Larry David. He's a big inspiration to me. I love Larry David. Listen, I don't want the Palestinians to be expelled from Gaza. I don't want that to happen, okay? I'm straight up saying right now, I don't believe in ethnic cleansing. I don't want expulsions. This idea that Jewish people, this is the Nazi argument. The Nazis try to say that Jews are the responsible for like the racial displacement of whites. That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Dude, all the Jewish people I know right now want to fucking close all the borders right now because they're sick of Islamist extremist rallies in the streets. So I don't believe this bullshit white supremacist line that, the Jews were the ones who invented, open border. That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. True, I will fight you on the immigration issue. Your take is utopian and unrealistic. What have I said that's unrealistic? By the way, guys, we've got 60 live viewers on YouTube. Thank you if you're watching. Please leave a like. Help us reach more people. The more likes on the stream, the more YouTube recommends us to more people. So I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like. We've got 34 likes and 60 viewers. If you're watching, leave a like. It's so important. You have to leave a like, guys. Have to leave a like. Good question. Good comment here. Since 2000... Hey, doggies. Hey. Sorry, the doggies were having a go at each other. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, the doggies are tired, guys. Maybe I might have to end it soon, unfortunately. It's sad though. I don't want to end it because this is a good stream. This is a good stream. We've got 60 people. Hey, shh. It's okay. Leave a like on the stream, guys. Leave a like on the stream. So King of Korean says, since 2000, 350,000 people have been killed by Islamic terrorists in Nigeria compared to Israel killing Palestinians. Guess which one is touted as a genocide? Look, that's an interesting stat. Dude, the reason Charlie Kirk is saying that is because Nick Fuentes fucking raped him over Charlie Kirk got mind raped by Nick Fuentes over a 12 month period. That's why Charlie Kirk's saying that. You can't be like, oh, Charlie Kirk said this, therefore it must be true. The reason why Charlie Kirk made that shift to the right on race and all that stuff is because Nick Fuentes literally mind raped him. Nick Fuentes Nick, he's like a brain leecher. Nick Fuentes went to Charlie Kirk and just raped him over many months, mentally raped Charlie Kirk. And that's why Charlie Kirk made that shift. And now Charlie Kirk is trying to show that he's based. Charlie Kirk's going out there going listen, guys, the Jews, okay? It's because he got mind raped by Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes is a fucking retard, okay? Nick Fuentes is a fucking retard. I'd debate him. I'd debate Nick Fuentes. He's a fucking retarded person. He's a fucking retarded person. Drew, what are your thoughts on AIPAC? It's just overdone. It's overdone. All this stuff about AIPAC's influence. This is the thing, right? If I was an American politician, like people know my views. Obviously, I'm very critical of the Palestinian extremists and stuff like that. I defend Israel's right to exist. That said, I wouldn't take AIPAC money just because people then go, "Oh, you took AIPAC money. That's why you're doing it for money." It's bullshit, right? Like my position, right? I don't. My position is not informed by money. I'm gonna have my position no matter what, regardless of money. America controls Israel, not the other way around. It's true. Look at what happened. Trump said to Bibi, "Turn the planes around," and Israel had no choice. They had to turn the planes around. That's fact check true. Trump told Israel, end the war with Iran, and they had to do it. They had no other choice. Drew Pavlus, Fatos's profile is a picture of baby Hitler. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, we got some Hitlerists here. The Hitlerists have to go. If we've got a mod, get rid of the Hitlerists, please. I agree. Nick Fuentes is an IVF fuck up. It's true. What's unrealistic? You want migrants that will love Australia and integrate and want to kick out those who don't have Australian values. There is no way to separate these groups using the immigration system. Listen, the worst cases of extremism and support for terrorism and all this stuff, we've got to deport those people to make an example. And if we make an example if we deport the 100 worst ideological extremists, that will probably have an effect in teaching people you can't do this in Australia. I think that's a start. If you denaturalized and deported people like Wissam Haddad, I'll show you Wissam Haddad. Hang on, I'm just going to blow my nose, guys. 1 second. Got a cold. Hang on. Okay.
Jewish.
Like, if you got rid of this guy who's like the worst hate preacher in Australia, he's literally an ISIS preacher. If you got rid of him, denaturalized him, stripped him of citizenship, and deported him, along with like the 50 worst Islamic extremists in the country, I think that would probably almost do enough. Because by deporting 50 of the worst extremists, you would teach people that this is wrong. That's kind of what Singapore does. I think that's the way to do it. Hang on, I got a super chat here. For the first time ever, I'm leaving a dislike. You failed me as a student and must leave the dojo. You'll be as limp as a fish for Fuentes. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? What have I said wrong? No, Max. Israel doesn't control US foreign policy in the Middle East. We saw that over the past week. Israel wanted to keep the war going with Iran. And Trump said, turn the planes back. And Bibi had to turn the planes back. So this idea that Israel controls American foreign policy is just fake. Nick Fuentes is the future of right-wing politics. Well, if that's the case, I'm certainly not right-wing because Nick Fuentes is a fucking retard. I like Fuentes. He's a funny gay poster child for diversity. Do you think there's any truth to the rumor that Israel is secretly controlled by the Jews? We're going to look into that. Guys. We'll look into that. I believe Israel is secretly controlled by the Jews. You're a hate preacher in your own way. How am I a hate preacher? I'm fucking not. This guy, Wissam Haddad, do you know what this guy did? He defended ISIS. So there was a Sydney-based Islamic extremist. His best friend went to Syria, beheaded somebody, got his 4-year-old Australian-born kid to hold up the severed head. And Wissam Haddad defended his best friend doing that with his kid. And you say, I'm on the same plane as that. That's disgusting, man. That's disgusting. Denaturalized straight away. The worst, when we're talking about the worst ISIS hate preachers, people like Anjem Choudhury, Wissam Haddad. Wissam Haddad, incidentally, was actually mentored by Anjem Choudhury, who was the worst ISIS hate preacher in Britain. So if you just got rid of the 50 worst ideological extremists, I think you would go a lot of the way to solving the problem. I'm actually going to tweet that. Just put that tweet up. Corey Pelton, the National Socialist League was an American neo-Nazi organization of gay men only. Nick Fuentes is going to restart the organization. Good on him. Keep the gay Nazi spirit alive. Drew, the issue is Australia allows for Saudi Arabia to finance to the tune of hundreds of millions the construction of Sunni Salafi mosques. No extremist mosque. Any hate mosque has to get shut down. The best part is the rage baiting and Drew pretending to be rage baiting. Sorry, I wasn't frozen. I was just tweeting something. I had a good idea. Drew, if you're not racist, can you keep explaining why you post Druck McCunley and other far-right people videos all the time? Druck McCunley is not far-right at all. Druck McCunley is a very moderate, sensible, classical liberal. Classical liberal. It's so bullshit to say Druck McCunley is far-right. That's so bullshit. He's not racist at all. Not racist at all. Absolutely not racist. Druck McCunley is a sensible centrist. He's a classical liberal. He's not racist at all. Druck is a perfectly reasonable moderate. He is a perfectly reasonable person. Drew, what do you think of gay interracial marriage? Look, I'm not personally going to get involved in a gay interracial marriage. Thank you, though. Thank you, though. I'm against the Nazis. I'm against the Nazis. You know, I'm enthusiastic supporter of Jewish people. I'm against Nazis, okay?
Leaders are determined to hold a Western Sydney Islamic preacher to account for what they say is unacceptable racial discrimination. Now waiting for the judge's verdict, they've said it was a tragedy. They were forced to bring the lawsuit themselves.
Wissam Haddad is the cleric accused of preaching anti-Semitism.
Get this fucking guy out of the country. Get this guy out of the fucking country, guys. He literally defended ISIS. He literally recruited people to ISIS. Tully says, I'm in a gay interracial marriage. Salute, Tully. Very, very progressive. Good stuff.
Stand by everything you said in those sermons? Yeah, free Palestine.
The court hearing in several sermons.
So what this guy did, Wissam Haddad had a sermon at his hate mosque where he basically said, in the end times, the tree and the rock will call out, "Oh believer, oh Muslim, there is a Yehudi behind me, come and kill him." That was what he said in his. So he was basically preaching to Muslims saying that in the end times, and it's a hadith that's actually not seen as a verified hadith. It's a more extremist hadith. And he cited that hadith saying, in the end times, the Jews will be called upon to, the Muslims will be called upon to wage apocalyptic race war with the Jews. That's what he was saying. Get the fuck out of the country. Just get the fuck out of my country. Literally denaturalize this guy straight away. Get the fuck out of my country. Fact check. True.
At a Bankstown prayer centre, then posted online. He labelled Jewish people vile, treacherous, mischievous, among others.
Oh Muslim, oh believer, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him. Deport. Get the fuck out of my country. Just get the fuck out of my country. Shut down his hate mosque. Get him out of the country. Deport. There's no reason for him to be in the country. He hates Australia. He hates the multicultural democratic society we live in. Get the fuck out of the country. Give me one good argument why this guy should continue to be an Australian citizen. He clearly hates the country. He hates the Australian nationality. He wants to incite race war within Australia. Get him the fuck out of the country.
Other slurs.
Isn't it bullshit? Isn't it bullshit that the Australian police refused to charge him? That's how woke the police have gone. The police wouldn't charge this guy for hate speech, even though he was saying that in the end times, Muslims should go out and kill Jews. And the police were so worried about getting bad publicity with the Muslim community that they actually let this outright ISIS preacher just off the hook. Disgrace. Get him the fuck out of the country. Deport. Get him the fuck away from Australia.
The relentless dehumanisation and vilification that has been directed at our community.
Utterly unacceptable, un-Australian, and we hope that the court will find unlawful.
accusing him of breaching racial discrimination laws. Haddad's lawyers argued the speeches, coming soon after the Gaza conflict began, were for a private audience, but he also admitted he knew they'd end up on social media.
Do you feel like apologising? Thank you so much.
We have achieved something that no government...
Get this cunt out of my country. Get Wissam Haddad, the ISIS hate preacher, get him out of Australia straight away. If I was the Prime Minister, he'd be on a plane tomorrow. He'd be on a plane tomorrow. I'd pass special legislation in the Australian Parliament, literally removing citizenship from him, and he'd be on a plane. He'd be on a plane. It would literally be the Wissam Haddad Removal Act. Literally, this one guy, I'd pass a piece of legislation for this one guy to have his citizenship removed and kicked out of the country. He can't be here.
The law enforcement agency has been willing or able to achieve. It's a tragedy when our institutions fail us and citizens are left to fend for themselves.
If they win their case, they've asked the court to order that all videos of the sermons be removed from the internet and that Haddad be ordered never to preach anything similar again.
We always respect the court's decision. Thank you so much.
The judge will make his ruling in coming months. Paul Kadak, 7 News.
Remove the 10 worst hate preachers in the country. Just remove them. Just straight up remove them. Guys, I want to watch the first start of Adam Curtis's new documentary. Can we watch this on the stream? Have a bit of a watch party for maybe the first 10 minutes? No, you actually can have liberalism and call for this person to be deported. It's called the Karl Popper paradox of tolerance. I believe in militant liberalism. So I believe in defending liberalism with fangs against those who want to crush liberalism. I don't believe it's suicidal liberalism. I believe liberalism should just straight up deport people who want to fucking destroy the country. Drew looking very Leah DeLorean today. Fuck you, man. That's fucked up. I grew out my beard. You can't say I look like a lesbian. Fuck you. Somebody asked me if I like Arab culture. Listen to how good this Arab music sample is in the latest clip thing. This sounds... As Miha says, absolute freedom would literally destroy freedom. So you have to have some limitations, like, for example, removing ISIS hate preachers from your country. Because they want to remove... They want to destroy the country. They want to destroy democracy. So why would we give them the freedom to destroy democracy? Yes, I do support deporting communists. I do support that. I'm removing this Nazi guy from the chat. That's disgusting. I hate this shit. I removed his comment. That's such a good song. I love that Arab sample. I think Pharrell did the sample. So fucking goated. Somebody said it's atrocious. That's so wrong, dude. That was such a good song. That was such a good song. Seriously. It's the Greek bouzouki. Okay. We put on some Greek music quickly. Chris says, it's bad. The Nasheed is even better. Nasheed. Will I get my show... Will my stream get taken down if I listen to the ISIS Nasheed?
Let's talk about music. I dig blues music. We don't like children's music.
No. What music are you into? I like this. It's very grown up.
Nashim el Sawarim. There was so many good memes on that back in the day. Hang on, SpongeBob. There was a really good SpongeBob ISIS meme. Hang on.
الله أكبر
يا أخيا بدرب النجاة لنمضي سويا نصد الغزاة ونرفع.
يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء
يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس يا من ألفت قلوبا بإسلام
يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله
بأمي وأبي
That shit goes good.
فديتك سيدي صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد.
That was actually a good song. Okay, this is where the racists in the chat are going to get mad at me. I actually really like Pink Pantheress. I actually think she's a good musician. So cancel me for that. You can call me gay. I think it's actually a good song. It's very catchy. I like it. I think it's catchy.
A million things I can say, but baby, always someone got. I leave my bedroom with my posters of you up. I do this all because you're my superstar. My superstar. I look at you and I wonder why it's so complicated. You're talking up to a crowd of people you call your head.
This is the thing. I'm open about the fact that I like this music because I'm so fucking straight, because I'm so confident in my masculinity. I'm so confident that I have a cock. I'm so confident that I can actually like Pink Pantheress and nobody can call me gay about it. So a lot of other guys might be scared to admit that they like Pink Pantheress. They might go, oh, no, I don't like it. I like it. What are you going to fucking do about it? I'm a fucking guy. I've got a cock. I'm a fucking straight man with a cock and I fucking like Pink Pantheress. What are you going to do about it? It's a fucking good music.
Your friends all tell me you're too scared of coming up. But tonight, why is it all emotional to you? Come text me, come talk to me, come on. You want sex with me, come talk to me, come on. You want sex with me, come talk to me, come on. You want sex with me, come talk to me, come on. Talk, baby.
That's the thing, right? A lot of other guys wouldn't admit that they like Pink Pantheress because they'd be like, I don't want people to call me gay. I don't care. Call me gay. I've got a cock. I'm a man. I like fucking women. I'm a man with a cock. I'm straight. I'm heterosexual. And you can call me gay for liking Pink Pantheress. Fucking go ahead. Call me gay. It doesn't matter. I'm still fucking straight at the end of the day. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء
يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس يا من ألفت قلوبا بإسلام
يا حبيبي يا شافعي يا رسول الله
بأمي وأبي أتيتك سيدي صلاة وسلام عليك
actually a good
يا
song.
نبي حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد.
That was literally a good song. I actually like that.
We've lost dancing.
Fred again is really good. He had a really good one with Skep to come out the other day. This goes so hard.
I need that blue white bitch on Depop, she a little teapot, 2 left feet, them Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thot. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat moss. Got a bitch skip pit popping in my Reeboks, talking about a detox, pussy like a beatbox, all grown up bitch looking like Salute, not that booty. I need that blue white bitch on Depop, she a little teapot, 2 left feet, them Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thot. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat moss. Got a bitch skip pit popping in my Reeboks, talking about a detox, pussy like a beatbox, all grown up bitch looking like Salute, not that booty. I need that blue white bitch on Depop, she a little teapot, 2 left feet, them Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thot. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat moss. Got a bitch skip pit popping in my Reeboks, talking about a detox, pussy like a beatbox, all grown up bitch looking like Salute, not that booty.
Could have been 30, could have been a G. Should've never snitched. Why you take it to police? Started looking at you funny when you walking down the street, looking at you like food, trying to see where they can eat. Me, I'm like, well, I wouldn't get it.
What else should I put on? It actually goes so hard. I love that song. That goes so hard. Oh wait, hang on. Sorry, Dodo, I missed your super chat. Hang on, where is this? I thought you were lesbian, not gay, trans. No, I'm straight. I'm straight. I'm the straightest man that's ever lived. What was I gonna put on? Put on real rap. I fucking love hip hop. I fucking love it. What was the song I was going to put on? Oh, Skepta. Shut down. Marquee, when it's shut down, eh? Trust me, daddy. Yeah. Man doesn't mean when it's shut down. That don't mean it's shut down. That frequency is shut down. It's shut down. When the show to the front row in a black tracksuit, it's shut down. When it's shut down. They better know when it's shut down. Time. Also, for the mind, like I got pizza cycle crimes after the show being golden night. Don't care about no something sign. It's still my vision. You say the culture is my religion. But no of them want to go to prison. The man got shiny. Nothing. We don't care about the internet citizens. It's shut down. As we shut down. You can see shut down. As we think it's shut down. But the song to the front row with a black tracksuit is shut down. So the little bit is shut down. We better know when it's shut down. It's the camera. Say Muslim. You say Rasta. They don't eat pork. Only fire. So knacker. But here on your feet. There's a lot of things. But they look like it's not my school. Stop moving quickly. No more I'm sick. You get me. So certainly, so before this don't impress me. Trust. Respectfully, one of the granddad woman and Wembley. Go deep in a blacked out Bentley, full of my life. One, sexy is shut down. Shut down. It's shut down. Everything is shut down. So sitting in the front row in a black tracksuit and it's shut down. So everything is shut down. Everybody know it is shut down. A young man, all dancing and aggressively on stage. Made me so intimidated, and it's just not what I expect to see on primetime TV. But it's just in class, when I say, you want to bring my class 2 by 2 for the broken the arc, something refers like rolls apart. Trust me, you don't want to get dark. I'm glad when oh, fuck. I was in Paris, shut down, lock, New York, shut down, Central Park. Was that London? No, it's just the fuck. And just the heart. It's a golden, that's not. That's a good song. Good song. That was a good song. I fucking love Skepta. Skepta goes so hard.
I need that blue white bitch on detox, she a little teapot, 2 left feet and Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thot. Should've never let the bitch alone with my seat mods. Now the bitch get pit popping in my Reeboks. Talk about a detox, pussy like a beatbox. All grown up, bitch looking like Salute, not that booty. I need that blue white bitch on detox, she a little teapot, 2 left feet and Reebok. Shawty did freelance, now she a free thot. Should've never let the bitch alone with my.
What's a song where it's like it's the white guy pretending to be Jamaican?
What? And I remember a couple years ago. Yeah. And I remember a couple years ago. Oh, I remember a couple years ago. Oh, what you know? And I remember a couple years ago, a man that was brass. Couldn't find no money for the gas. Little bit of money wouldn't last. Walk around, walk him on my ass. Me have to think of something real fast. So me jump in at the studio, me jump.
My name's Pink and I'm really glad to meet you. You're recommended to me by some people. Hey, ooh, is this illegal? Hey, ooh, it feels illegal. I've solved it quite a few times with paranoia. Oh, what should I don't know what I should call you. Hey, ooh, it's 24 yeah. Hey, we're getting higher around the corner. One after one, now you're sitting.
Call me gay for liking Pink Pantheress. Call me gay for liking white girl music. Call me gay. I don't care. I'm a heterosexual man. I'm confident in my sexuality and my masculinity. I don't give a fuck. Call me gay for liking Pink Pantheress. Go ahead. Go ahead. It won't make a difference. I still fucked your bitch.
On my bed. Then later on we can talk on it instead. 2 into 1 while you're sitting on my bed. Then later on my confession. head. We'll meet again when my head works like.
Someone said the viewers are dropping. Okay. All right, I'll go back. What do you guys want me to look at? What do you want me to look at? Have you guys seen Son of the Century? Such a good show.
È una data storica. Oggi nasce il fascismo. Una creatura bellissima, fatta di ideali, di cambiamento, che conquisterà milioni di cuori. Sono sicuro anche i vostri. Seguitemi. Un'epoca è finita. Il mondo come funzionava prima non funziona più. La violenza che praticate è imbarazzante. La nostra è una violenza cavalleresca. Ecco.
Tu li fare cadere tutti, finché non arriverà il tuo momento.
Someone's saying the show is liberal propaganda. Like, a lot of people have made like edits of it that are pro Mussolini. I'm against Mussolini. I'm disavowing it. I'm just saying.
Io mi farò trovare pronto. Dobbiamo diventare un vero partito! Ora entra in scena il prestigiatore.
I had a chat asking me, do I hate Hitler more than Mussolini? Obviously, Hitler's way worse than Mussolini. Mussolini's still bad, but Hitler's like another level of evil.
Cesarino, la finestra.
Such a good show. Such a good show. No, I don't see anything in myself. I'm so different. I hate Mussolini. I disavow him 100%. I literally fully disavow. It's fucking disgusting.
Chiamo Mussolini, Benito, Amilcare e Andrea. Il mio tempo è arrivato. Ci vedete come pagliacci, bugiardi, buffoni, scandalosi. Può darsi, ma è irrilevante. Noi siamo il nuovo. Ogni epoca ne ha uno. Uno che da solo pensa che i suoi sogni possano realizzarsi. La facciamo noi la storia! Per il futuro, l'avanguardia, la rivoluzione. La democrazia è bellissima.
Someone said Mussolini calling out to Drew like the Green Goblin. That's disgusting. That's fucking foul, guys. Come on, that's foul. That's fucked up. Fully disavowed.
Ma ti dà un sacco di libertà, anche quella di distruggerla.
That was a funny. I will admit that was a funny comment. How someone was like Mussolini calling out to Drew like the Green Goblin mask because I was watching the trailer of that show. No, the guy I respect.
I can tell you that when
Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew was a man with iron in him. Lee Kuan Yew was a very powerful, incredible figure.
When I met the SIA pilots, I didn't meet them on TV. I met them face to face. So 5 feet across the table so they can see me and see whether I'm still vigorous, able to campaign and take them on, whether it's worth taking me on. And I offered them two choices. Either you argue, you stop this intimidation, which is what it was, bringing SIA right down, disrupting services, ruining its reputation, millions of dollars worth of advertisements and sales ruined within a matter of 2 weeks. It will take many, many months to repair the damage. And I said, gentlemen, and one of the captains on the committee is a founder member of Mr. Chiam's Singapore Democratic Party. And I knew it. He thought I didn't. But I first...
I'm against tearing down the statues of Christopher Columbus because the people who want to do that, they're only doing it because they hate the West. They're doing it for communist reasons. That's just a fact.
Announced elections on Sunday, then I met them on Monday, so that they know I'm ready to meet them during elections. I gave them a choice. Continue this, and I will, by every means at my disposal, teach you and get the people of Singapore, help me teach you a lesson you won't forget. And I'm prepared to start all over again. Or stop it. Get back to work, restore discipline, then argue your case. Took them 65 minutes. They did as much talking as I did, a lot of them in answer to my questions. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they'll lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
Whoever governs Australia must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I spent my whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm around, nobody's coming to knock it down. Fucking powerful Lee Kuan Yew. You know what? Every time I meet a Singaporean migrant, I tell them I respect Lee Kuan Yew, and they're really happy with me straight away. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him, or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. There's a comment here. The fact that an act like Bobby Villain is quite openly anti-British is quite worrying, but if he was the Saturday headline act on the pyramid stage, I would flee the country. Okay, well, I guess it's not on the main stage, but still, it's pretty bad. Being a Labour supporter, but admire Lee Kuan Yew, who crushed union, how do you marry these conflicting ideals? And do you think Australian union is too arrogant and excessive? I unite all ideals within my soul, okay? I unite all ideals within my soul. You know the beautiful quote, I contradict myself very well, then I contradict myself. Very well, then I contradict myself. I am large, I contain multitudes. Within myself, I contain within myself every current contemporary political tendency, left, right, everything, within my soul, within my heart. Drew, make your mind up. Do you love and enjoy democracy, but effectively require high trust ethno state, or do you want multiracial recipe-based society with benevolent managed democracy dictatorship? Stressful. I don't think the choice is that grim, but bro's claiming to be the Jesus of politics. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say I'm Jesus. I didn't say that. I just said that I contain within me multitudes. Okay. All right, guys. I've hit 2 hours on the stream. I might call it a day today. Let's see the stats. 90 watch hours. That's not too bad. 45 average. It's increasing. It's increasing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate everyone's help. Thank you for joining the Drew Pavlu Show today. Episode 71 of our 100-day challenge. It's been good fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Stay humble. The fortress of righteousness is rising. And yes, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all. Stay humble. Stay humble. Thank you, guys. All right. Salute to you. See you later. Dodo, look, I think unions are pretty good. Obviously, it's different when you're talking about communist unions and militancy. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all. Stay humble. The fortress of righteousness, it's rising. All right, guys. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Hang on, sorry. Someone said you missed some days in your 100-day challenge. I'm gonna fix that. Okay. I think I'm 5 days behind. I'm gonna do a couple days where I do 2 streams a day in the morning and the night. All right, guys. Salute to you. Thank you, everybody. That's the end of the stream now.